Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back. Today's video is going to be something a little bit different, and I got this idea from basically my son's school sending home all of the work over the weekend, and his teacher had said something like, if all of you could send in a picture of your child working from home, that would be really great, and we can post them like to the school website or on the Facebook page. And I thought that was a cool idea, so I took a picture of Henry working on Monday morning and I sent it in, and then all of these Facebook pictures started popping up of all the kids from his class, and it was just like so heartwarming to us. Like, it just made us feel so much better, like a little bit more connected, because being at home now the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 days in a row has been a little bit, isolating, and I just miss seeing other people. And I know it's not that long, but I think it's more the thought of this going on for a while that is making me feel a little bit anxious, and just seeing all those pictures made me feel like, you know what, we're all in this together, and it was just so nice to see everybody's face. So taking that same sentiment over here to YouTube, I thought it would be fun if I could involve all of you guys in this video. So I asked on my Instagram stories and also on the community tab here on YouTube if you guys would send me a picture of your favorite palette that you've been using recently, and it could have been basically anything that you're comfortable with. It could be a picture of the palette, swatches, or a look that you did with it, and I thought I would put them all together in this video and we can see kind of what the community is loving these days. And I got so many responses from you guys, way more than I was ever expecting, which made me so happy. And a lot of you guys were saying that you loved having something to do instead of just sitting and watching the news or kind of thinking about this all the time, that it was kind of just a little point in time where you could just focus on the makeup and think about what your favorite palette is. And I'm just so grateful for everybody who sent pictures in, and it was so nice to see some of your faces. I know you guys are always seeing me, but I never get to see you guys, so that was so much fun just going through all the responses. So I'm going to show you guys what my favorite palette is first, and then I'll get into everybody else's. So I think this is going to be a really fun series while we're all stuck home. So my favorite palette these days has been the original Too Faced Chocolate Bar. So I know I've been using the new Too Faced Natural Nudes palette a lot lately too, but this one I think I've just been reaching for the most. And I got this very recently for the first time ever. I don't know what took me so long to buy this palette because it's so gorgeous. It has a lot of cool tones in here mixed with a few warms, but the formula is just so good. It's so velvety. The mattes just blend like a dream. It's neutral, but it also has a couple of pops of color that are more on the subtle side, which is what I like. So if I want to do purple on my eye, if I want to do green, they're just subtle enough to where a neutral lover like myself doesn't feel like it's too bright or too bold. So I've just been enjoying this palette, reaching for it constantly. I'm wearing it on my eyes today. I know I'm super late to the party, but it is what it is. So anyway, let's get into all of your favorite palettes and your looks. And apologies in advance if I mess up on any of your names. Some of you I have your first name, while others I just have your Instagram handle. So I'm going to do my best with that. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright, so first up we have at Cosmetic Talk on Instagram. She said that the ColourPop Sailor Moon palette is her favorite right now. She said it's so pigmented and a great addition to her makeup collection, and she showed some really nice swatches here. I have to say I'm kind of regretting not getting this palette. It looks so pretty. Next up, at Nikki Helena on Instagram sent over some gorgeous colorful looks using the Beauty Bay EYN Bright Matte palette. She said she's loving playing with color lately, so this palette is perfect, and it definitely has a lot of color. That's a really pretty one. Next up, I got a picture from Sherry, and she said that the Essence Beautiful eyeshadow palette is her favorite these days. I really like that one too. It has some really beautiful soft neutrals. And then we have Terry. She said she can't narrow it down to just one, so she picked her top 3. We have the Natasha Denona Love palette, which she said has bright but easy to use colors that really speak to her. The ABH Amrezy, she loves their formula, and also that this palette has some glitter in it and can be as neutral or bold as her mood. And then the Too Faced Natural Nudes, which is an elegant go-to everyday color story with a sophisticated and goof-proof formula. I really love that one too. Next up we have at Makeuptopia by Noor on Instagram, and she said that her favorite palette is the original Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette because it has everything from everyday shades to ones for more formal occasions, and she sent a gorgeous collection of looks that she created with it. So pretty. Next up we have at Makeup by Shaduli on Instagram. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I'm so sorry. She loves the Tammy and Makeup Revolution Tropical Paradise palette and showed a really pretty look she created with it. She really loves the packaging and feels that it's a perfect palette for those who love neutrals as well as playing with color, and that it has amazing pigmentation, especially the shimmers, and she also thinks it's a great palette for beginners as well. Next up, Megan loves the Mercury Retrograde palette and especially loves using the lavender as a transition shade. I love this palette too. She sent in a beautiful look she created with it. I love that so much. Next up, we have at Reseñas y Más, which I believe translates to reviews and more. Sorry, my Spanish is a little rusty. She's on Instagram and she showed a beautiful look she created with the Mercury Retrograde palette also. It's such a soft and pretty two-color look. Next we have Sarah at Mama's Makeup Diary on Instagram, and she sent a beautiful look she created with the Persona Identity 2 palette. I love Persona's formula too. I think it's awesome. Then we have Dutch Monique on Instagram. She sent a super pretty look using the Flutterby palette from ColourPop. I love that palette too. The cool tones in it are just gorgeous and they look amazing on her. And then Joni sent in a beautiful green look using the Makeup Revolution Tasty Avocado palette. She loves it because all the shades are so different but go so well together, and she used 7 different shades to create this look. That is awesome. Next, Amber sent in a picture of her Sydney Grace Enduring Love palette in the deep version, and she said the pictures don't do it justice and that the colors are way prettier on the skin than in the palette. Also, she said she's a history nut, so the shade names make her smile. I definitely need to get my hands on this one. It keeps selling out, unfortunately. Next, Shalonda sent a picture of her own palette, which is a mix of Urban Decay and ColourPop shadows that she depotted, and she said she loves having only makeup that she loves and not being wasteful. That is so awesome. I love that. Next, Mimi sent over a gorgeous look she created using the Sydney Grace Autumn's Rain palette. She said that even though we're coming into spring, she still loves the darker jewel tones and you can still get a somewhat neutral look out of it. I think this one is actually still in stock on Sydney Grace, so she's definitely making me want it. Next, Elsie sent a stunning green eye look using the Juvia's Place Tribe palette. She just used one shade, but it makes such an impact. I love it. And then Melissa sent this beautiful look she created using the ColourPop Sweet Talk palette. It was for a ladies' night out at the movies. I love all the peachy coral tones in that palette, and they look so pretty on her. Next up, Tammy Lynn sent photos of her 2 favorite palettes at the moment. The first one is the iconic London palette she got in her BoxyCharm, and the other one is a build your own palette she made of depotted sea color palettes. That is so cool. And then we have at BeautyCutie314 on Instagram. She sent over a picture of her Marc Jacobs iconic palette in Electric. She said it has cool tone mattes that blend like a dream and both light and intense shimmers. That one is really pretty. I love his shadows as well. Next up, at the Mona Reviews on Instagram sent a picture of the winter palette from an indie brand called Sunshine Brit. She said it has everything she needs for a full face, and you can even use some shades as bronzer, so it's really versatile. I hadn't actually heard of this brand before, but she said they have 2 palettes at the moment, and they donate a portion of the sales to cancer charities, which I thought was really nice. Next up, Ashley sent me some beautiful looks she made with the Mercury Retrograde palette. I really love the versatility of that palette, and all of her looks came out so gorgeous. Lauren, who actually has a channel here on YouTube, sent me a stunning look she made with the Carli Bybel palette. I'm actually rethinking my decision not to buy it at this point. I'll make sure to link her channel down below. And speaking of that, some of you on Instagram have public pages while others are private, and I wasn't sure if you wanted me to share your information or not. So next time we do this, please let me know if you'd like me to link your channel or page, which I definitely will do. Next we have at Sassy Mofras on Instagram, and she posted a beautiful green look she made with the new e.l.f. Bite Size Jalapeno palette. These are such an amazing formula, and I think this look came out so good. Next up, Wendy Lou sent a picture of her favorite palette, which is the ColourPop It's All Good palette. This is one that I didn't purchase for some reason, but I keep thinking about buying it when I place an order on their site. I'm really drawn to the purples in this one. The next one is from at Adventures with Carissa on Instagram, and she said she's loving the ColourPop Smoke Show palette because it's breaking her out of her comfort zone. She did this challenge for Disney and created an amazing Evil Queen look inspired by Snow White and the Huntsman. It's absolutely fantastic. Wow, I am blown away by this. That is so beautiful. Next up, Journey sent me a gorgeous tropical inspired look using her current favorite palette, the Makeup Revolution Bird of Paradise palette. She loves using orange, green, and purple colors, and this palette has so many of them to choose from, so that's really beautiful. Then Melinda sent me a beautiful golden look using her favorite palette, the Juvia's Place Nubian 2. This is one of my favorites from Juvia's Place too, and their formula is like no other, and I absolutely love the way her look came out. That is so pretty. And then next, Leah sent me a picture of her ColourPop Bare Necessities palette, and she said, like you, I love my neutrals. And that is very true. I love them, and I love this palette too. Then Shell Teresa sent in a picture of her BH Cosmetics Zodiac palette, which is another favorite of mine. I think the formula on that one is so awesome, and I love like the subtle but colorful shades in there. Next up, Farron sent me a picture of her Covergirl True Naked palette along with some swatches, and she said that it's one of the few neutral palettes that actually has neutral tones, so she can pair it with any lipstick. And also she said that it's one she doesn't have to think about too hard when getting ready for work. Next we have Taylor. She sent in a photo of her Galaxy shadows from JD Glow Cosmetics. She said they're the most pigmented, buttery soft shadows she owns, and she has close to 100 palettes, so that definitely says a lot about them. She also said that they last all day on her eyes without glitter glue and have reasonable prices and very fast shipping, so definitely a brand that I'm putting on the list to check out. Next we have Leslie. She sent in some photos of her two favorite palettes, both from Juvia's Place, the Violets and the Deuce, along with some swatches and a beautiful look that she created. These are both gorgeous palettes, and like I said earlier, Juvia's Place shadows are truly just amazing. Next we have Amanda. She said she's been using two palettes nonstop, ColourPop Going Coconuts and also the Hot Hot Heat palette from LA Girl. Those are actually both favorites of mine as well. And she also shared a beautiful look that she created. I love that. And then Marlene also sent a gorgeous look using the Juvia's Place Violets palette. I love how this turned out, and I definitely need to get this palette now. It is so pretty. You guys are convincing me. Next, Addie told me her favorite palette at the moment is the LA Girl Pro Mastery palette because she loves the pink and berry tones in here. I agree. I love that palette as well. I think the formula is awesome. And then Katie told me she's really loving the ABH Norvina palette and Pat McGrath Divine Rose, but she's also been blown away by how pretty the Makeup Obsession Feels palette is. So she sent some swatches over, and I have to say I really love that color story too. That's beautiful. Amber couldn't narrow it down to one, but she sent in her three current favorites, which I also really like these two. We have Milani's Most Loved Mattes, the Balms Meet Matte Tremoni, and then the Wet n Wild Rosé in the Air, which is actually a pretty close dupe for the Modern Renaissance palette too. Next, Liz sent in a photo of her favorite palette at the moment, the Urban Decay Born to Run. I feel like this is an awesome palette because it has a little bit of everything. The formula is really, really good on it as well. I love this. Next up, at Just Makeup Tings on Instagram sent over her two go-to palettes lately, the Kylie Jenner You're So Money palette and also the Focallure Sunset palette. Those two are definitely gorgeous. I love Focalure's formula a lot. I don't have that one yet, but it's been on my list. And then Raylene sent over a picture of her e.l.f. New Classics palette. I love this one too. It has such a soft, pretty color story, and it reminds me in some ways of the Natasha Denona Biba palette. It also has a really good formula. Next up, Camille sent over four of her current go-to palettes. We have the Bad Habit Mystere. I never know how to say that one, but it's a Pat McGrath dupe. Also the Face Candy Sahara palette, BH Cosmetics Galaxy Chic, and the Give Me Glow Juicy Olive, which was also on my list. That's a beautiful green palette. Then we have MBS99 on Instagram. She said her favorite is the Comfort Zone from Wet n Wild. It's such a classic and she loves it for everyday use and to create simple looks. She loves to do a quick two-color look with a transition and lid color, and also loves that the colors show up well on her medium skin tone. Koo sent over some swatches of her favorite palette, which is the 3CE Smoother palette. I've never tried this brand, but I have to admit it really intrigues me. I love K-Beauty skincare, and I would love to try some makeup too. I think this is a gorgeous, just neutral palette. Definitely right up my alley. Next, Hannah sent a beautiful look using the ColourPop Soul palette. It has such gorgeous warm tones, and it looks beautiful on her. Then we have Krystal. She is loving her Jeffree Star Bloodlust palette and sent over some really beautiful swatches of it. I have to admit, she's making me take a second look at this one because those colors are gorgeous. Next up, Natalie has been reaching for her Smashbox Vlada palette. She said the shadows are soft, beautifully pigmented, and blend together nicely. She also loves how the rose gold color story works with her blue-green eyes. Next up, we have my friend Jen showing a gorgeous look she did with the Zoeva Caramel Melange palette. We actually met on Instagram and found out that we live near each other, so we hang out now. And she's a pro makeup artist and has her own business called The Fairy Glam Mother. I'll leave her Instagram down in the description box. She does hair and makeup for weddings and events, and she's super talented. If you live in Connecticut or the surrounding area, definitely check her out. She's an awesome person as well. I'm so happy that I got to know her. Next up, Chris shared a picture of the Naked 3 palette, and she said it's her favorite palette lately. I love this palette so much when it first came out, and I feel like I haven't given it enough love recently, so it's definitely time to pull it back out. Next up, Brenda loves the Profusion Mirage palette, and she said she's been getting so much use out of it. I really love this one too. It's one of my favorites from Profusion. Next up, Michelle sent a picture of her current favorite palette, which is the Love in London palette from BH Cosmetics. I love that one too. She said it has just enough neutrals and colors for every day while also having high high impact shimmers, and her favorite shades are Tea and Lolly. Next up, Jill sent in a beautiful glowy look she did using the Makeup Revolution Soph Extra Spice palette, which is her favorite palette right now, and I definitely like that one as well. I don't get as much use out of it as I wanted to, so you're definitely inspiring me to pull it out again and play with it. And then last but not least, Teresa loves her ColourPop Sailor Moon palette as well. She said it gives her happy vibes and the colors are very pigmented and blend so well. She shared a gorgeous look she did with it, and I'm thinking I definitely want this one when it comes back in stock. I think it's going to be perfect for springtime. Alright guys, so that's everything. I hope you enjoyed seeing all of the beautiful looks that you guys did and talking about your favorite palettes. I know I had so much fun combing through all of the different responses, so we will definitely do this again. So let me know down in the comments below what category you think we should do next, and the one that seems like it has the most votes, maybe that's the next one we'll do. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button right here in the corner of your screen, and I will see you all in my next video. Thank you guys so much, and stay well.